No, I was something here, but I didn't.
Sorry, I broke the, yeah, I'll hang on to it because I need it. Welcome everyone to the University Road Gateway Rotary meeting. Thank you to Kay Marie, our greeter, and Jody, would you come lead us in the pledge and forward?
All right, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now for the four-way test. First, of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? And it will be beneficial for all concerned.
Thank you. And we're going to be inspired by Jim Huber.
Short quotation from a very interesting book that I've read. It's called Embrace Fearlessly the Burning World by Barry Lopez. And what Barry says to us is, in my understanding, diversity is not, as I once thought, a characteristic of life. It is instead a condition necessary for life. To eliminate diversity would be like eliminating carbon and expecting life to go on. Thank you.
Do we have any visiting Rotarians in the house? Hand up. All right, Rotarians with guests. Here you go, Beth.
I have a guest, Marla. Estes. She's going to talk about a project that she's moving into Josephine County with, and we'll do a little announcement and then happy bucks as well. And then Kim is here, who is our presenter. There she is. But anyway, she'll be up there. I'll introduce her in a minute. Anyone else?
This is my childhood friend, my best friend Lisa. Since first grade.
Well, I'm gonna say a double hi. Oops. I'm gonna say a double hi to Kim Freeze, one of my very favorite people. And also Colleen Padilla, trying to hide back there. It's her birthday. And I told her in our club, you have to pay $10 or we sing the birthday song, but we're gonna waive that for her today because she's a special person. But we're really glad to be here. Welcome. Okay, so we have a new member and Susan's going to introduce him and then we'll move on to announcements. Okay, Brett Michelson, who some of us are already. That's right. Some of us are already friends with him. And in case you didn't read your navigator, first of all, shame on you. Brett Michelson is a retired law enforcement officer from the Glendora Police Department, where he dedicated his career to serving the community. His favorite aspect of the job was investigative work, solving cases, uncovering details, and making a real impact. He's a longtime swimmer. He's been in the water since he was 12 years old, competing for his high school and college teams and later with the U.S. Masters Swim Club. While life occasionally pulled him away from the sport, he has rediscovered his passion for water aerobics at Club Northwest, where he enjoys time in the pool with fellow Rotarians Lisa and Claudia. Beyond his career, Brett and his wife Annette owned a horse ranch in Northern California. They participated in WWOOF, Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, a cultural exchange program where volunteers work 5 hours a day in exchange for room and board. Through WWOOF, they hosted participants from, this is impressive, Japan, Switzerland, Russia, Germany, and across the US. While the extra hands were helpful, it was the friendships that truly enriched their lives. When the Calder fire forced them to evacuate, they thankfully didn't lose anything, but it was a wake-up call. They began thinking about moving out of fire country. After visits and research, they found a home in Grants Pass where Annette, a master gardener, could stay active in her passion. Their new neighbors welcomed them warmly, as has the entire Grants Pass community. Now, as a Rotarian, Brett is eager to get involved in youth programs, particularly Exchange Across America, where he hopes to serve as a host family. He jumped right in even before he was a Rotarian. He knew right away this was something he wanted to be. Please join us in welcoming Brett Michelson, the dedicated community servant, lifelong learner, and proud Rotarian. He will be a great asset. Packet for him, which we're gonna get next week, and we'll get photos and get called up. Welcome, we're pretty thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Good to be here.
Okay, people who have announcements, come on up, and I think we're gonna have quite a few today, but we have plenty of time. I just want to remind you, if you want to make a donation to the utility box art project, now would be the time to do that, because we're gonna be sending a check into the city in the next few weeks, and then kind of wrapping that up for a while. So, okay, come on up.
Don't be bothered.
I'll make this brief so Doug doesn't paddle me. The next Rotary Social is going to be on May 29th. We're gonna not have one every month like we have been because we're getting tired. And too many parties, right? Nobody ever said that. So it'll be May 29th, and it'll be up at the Weekend Beer Company, thanks to a donation by Steve Rowe, who had a gift certificate, so put it on your calendar.
So I have a message from Mint, from Cassie, and this Saturday, everyone is invited to Parker's Place at 11 o'clock for a townhouse meeting. Also, it's a way for Cassie, the team to show their appreciation to everyone. So 11 o'clock, Parker's Place on Saturday.
Okay, I wrote mine down, so that's you. Josephine County Food Bank is currently hiring a development coordinator. Anybody knows anyone is interested, it's on our website. We got a grant to do that. We need someone to really help us fundraise, and we're excited, and the food bank's a great place to work. It's Say Cheese Month. There's a Say Cheese here today, and Jody is eating it, so if you go out, get a cheese sandwich, every sandwich sold, we get $2 for that. And we are looking, some of our pantries are in need of help of volunteers. One of the things that's been happening in the Three Rivers School District, that we now have 4 main school pantries that then take food out to satellite pantries. So right now, we are feeding kids in 12 different schools. And we're looking for people that might want to go and help pack the food that then gets taken out to the other schools on a weekly basis. And they're also looking for people that perhaps want to be drivers that would actually then take food sometimes to the families that need food. So currently 23%, this is last year's numbers, in Josephine County of kids were in food insecure households. And then from point in time, which we don't have in 2024 yet, but in 2023, 756 children in Josephine County were considered homeless. So if anybody has time, you want to help with the schools, I have Shelby, she's one of our colleagues, I have her cards and I'll put them on the back table.
Support St. Cheese, there's lots of places, I think we've got 21 restaurants out there that are participating with the St. Cheese, so lots of places to go and eat and be able to help support food bank while you get lunch. My announcement is just kind of an update on Shoes That Fit. So I've got some disheartening news as well as some good news. The disheartening news was that they changed their format, and before they used to be able to send me the shoes. I would get the shoes, I would sort them, label them, confirm that they were the correct sizes that were ordered, et cetera, and then, get different ones if needed. Well, they don't want to do that anymore. They want to send them directly to the school because I guess people maybe, I don't know. Cause I'm gonna steal the shoes and I'm gonna sell them on the flipping black market and miss all of you. But anyway, so they shipped, okay, so I complained about it. And they said, okay, but what we'll do is we will notify you when the shoes ship. And we will notify the school because once we ask the shoes or ask the schools then work directly with Shoes That Fit on the templates, on getting the sizes, on all that type of thing. Then when the shoes come, that's when I step back in, get this other stuff organized, organize a date for us to be able to go out and help fit the shoes on the kids and all of that. Well, I found out through a friend of mine, he's a teacher at Sunny Wolf Charter School, where we provide 100% of the kids enrolled their shoes. And she notified me yesterday, oh, yeah, they got their shoes yesterday. So needless to say, this morning I had to draft and redraft because I was not saying the nicest probably things to the Shoes That Fit coordinator. And I said, and copied her on her email she sent me that stated flat out, they would notify me, she would make contact with the schools to be in touch with me. To an excuse of, oh, I'm sorry, I was out sick. So anyway, the bad news is that Sunny Wolf Charter School did get their shoes, which is a good thing. The bad news is they already dispersed them yesterday, at the same day they got them. I can't blame Sunny Wolf, when Bannerbank supported them in 2020, of course it was COVID, nobody could be there to disperse the shoes. So this was nothing different to them than what happened before. It was different for us, but the good news is, I've been in contact with both Riverside and Parkside and said, okay, your shoes haven't been shipped yet, I'm supposed to be notified, but if I'm not, you let me know as soon as those shoes get there, I'll come do the ranging and then we'll organize. So we still have 2 schools to go, and so we'll probably have about 80+ pair of shoes to fit our kids in 2 different schools. So good news, bad news, but at least we're supporting our kids.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here, hold on. Sure. Help me on 2 minutes. Jody, I think in that whole thing, maybe is a book, if we all combine our, the way we've yelled at people, via email without really being nasty, but really nasty. I think that's a book that we should share. I'd love to see how you did that, yelling and cursing without really yelling and cursing. Okay, so, like I mentioned a moment ago, I introduced Marla. She is here because, she's recruiting individuals to be part of a cohort. If you want to say, that'd be great.
Okay, a minute. I work for Urban Girl Action. We are developing cohorts in Jackson, Josephine, Douglas, and Klamath counties. We are working on the topic of homelessness, and what my ask is today is that we're looking for volunteers that we call Unitors, and they get a $500 stipend for 7 months of 6 to 16 hours a month commitment. And it's a really beautiful thing. We get a cohort together of all real diversity, like political, socioeconomic, rural, urban, race, age, and they work together to solve a problem. We give trainings to go along with that. And it's a beautiful program. We instituted a community garden in Butte Falls last year as our project. So we get stuff done and we learn how to work together. Is that good? That's a minute. Okay. There's flyers.
Recruiting people that might want to be in that cohort, maybe a young person you know, or somebody who's interested in being involved and learning skill sets and diversity.
And one more thing, we are uniting with Mid-Road Foundation. They are our community partners, so I know they're very vibrant and that's passed. Thank you.
Oh, and on your table, and on your table are some jokes I printed off the internet you can take with you, something kind of clean. I try to get them clean.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Jody for making me realize how easy it is to be the coordinator of blue bags. I just came up to remind you what's happening April 22nd, Jen? No, other people there too. Thank you. During Earth Week, we get a 20% match on all of the returnable bottles and cans that we collect in our blue bags. We have a supply of blue bags on the back table, and I have them in my toy box at home, in the front porch, if you want to If you're a new member and you need to learn how to use GapQB, you can find out where I live. We would like you to save, if you're just about to turn some in, if you can save them for a month, we'll get 20% extra beginning April 15th. It'll go April 15, 26. So thanks. You have that one?
Okay, thanks, everybody. Guess we're ready for our guest speaker, and I think Doug is going to introduce him for us.
I gotta input the blue bag thing in my calendar, so I remember to do that. Thanks, Greg. So Kim Freeze is here to talk about Million Cups, I think, right? Is that what we're talking about? I know Kim in a number of different ways. So I think that's right, yeah, okay. Brain freeze there for a moment. But Kim is, works at RCC, still working at RCC, correct? Still teach classes at RCC, entrepreneurship and subjects like that. She's been an entrepreneur, business owner. She started a number of businesses and ran them well and successful businesses, I think, in Wairika, Eureka. She's up here doing a number of different things. I've worked with her on various projects. She's a dynamic person who's out doing things, and she's a wonderful, wonderful person. I'm thrilled to be able to introduce her. I want to thank.
Thank you for that. I've done so many things. I have to remind myself what I'm doing now, what my title is, because it changes all the time. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Steve, for reaching out, for allowing me to present. I will just add a little bit more to what Doug shared, and then I'll get down to the nitty gritty. I tend to go off in the weeds, so I actually brought notes for myself. I did not create a PowerPoint because I usually just kind of move away from the PowerPoint. I should have, because I have some really incredible stories and pictures that would have been fun to share with you all. But I've been an entrepreneur since I was 15, launched my first company at 19. I've had 23 different businesses. I'm 25 now. I love entrepreneurship, but what I love about it is the economic benefits, but also the human benefits. And I had started a program in California working with individuals with mental health issues. I'm empowering them through the entrepreneurial mindset. So I still teach entrepreneurial mindset. Moved to Oregon. I was a dean with RCC for a little over 4 years. I was a dean of career tech. So my background is very diverse. I had to share this. I owned a 100-year-old ice house with a last name of Freeze. It was very popular. Yeah, I know. I love people say, "Did you really change your last name to align with your business?" No, it's my name. In construction, and so really enjoyed that. I still teach psychology classes because I'm very passionate about helping those that are challenged with mental health issues. There's not enough help and resources, and I am a clinical psychologist on top of all that. The reason I did that was I wanted to understand human behavior. I still don't have answers for you, but I'm working on it. It's going to be a lifelong project, right? We're always evolving as humans. But anyway, this long story, I felt a calling about 1.5 years ago, and I resigned from my position as dean because I really missed being in the entrepreneurial space and really being able to work at the grassroots levels with individuals in our community. Because if you know anything about being in administration or management, it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of administering, and I didn't really enjoy that. And so I made a big life change. Luckily, I have supported people in my life when I made that big life change. But anyway, I started a nonprofit and an LLC, and I started working within the community. Daniela was someone I connected with, and Doug, and I see others of you. And then this opportunity, actually, I want to thank Colleen for encouraging me, but there was a Southern Oregon Innovation Hub position, which is centered around entrepreneurship. And so I applied for the position, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm an ecosystem steward. I know, a funky title, kind of a big job. The task of the job is to build a thriving, robust ecosystem in our region. What does that look like? That looks like connecting entrepreneur support organizations with our entrepreneurs. What's the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner? They're pretty much one and the same, but there's a space where entrepreneurs, they're big thinkers and they have these ideas and something they want to do, and then they do that and they become a business owner. And sometimes they stay focused on that business, but sometimes they vacillate between being an entrepreneur and a business owner. And so it's a very, an evolving thing. I know myself, I was very dedicated to business. I had the entrepreneurial spirit, but then I always wanted to do something new. That was my thing. At Southern Oregon Innovation Hub, is part of Business Oregon's 10-year innovation planning. If you've not read it, it's actually a good read. Kind of let you know where we're going in the state. Oregon was identified as really falling behind as far as innovation, technology, the science, the trade sectors. So I think it's a very, very great thing that Business Oregon said, gosh, we need to do something about this. How are we going to do this work? How are we going to create robust ecosystems? And so they dedicated some federal funding to the project. We, a group of us in a committee, applied for a loan, and we were one of the successors. There's 9 hubs in the state of Oregon. They're all over the place, from Portland Metro to Eastern to the coast. And what we do is we connect with one another. But what we really do is we provide entrepreneurial support in our communities. What does that look like? Business coaching, mentorship, workshops, pitch events. I just hosted a pitch event last night in the Foodery in Phoenix. It was fabulous. What thrilled me was Phoenix High School showed up with their students. I was thrilled. They had some really great ideas, by the way. And so that's some of the entrepreneurial support we provide. I have the Design and Build Jam that myself and SOU created together. We offer that. I launched the 1 million cups. I do want to put a plug for that. It's through the Kauffman Foundation, which is a very large philanthropy. They've been doing this work for a very long time. Ewing Marion Kauffman wanted to give back. And so he came up with this idea. The story goes, he was sitting at a table drinking coffee, and he said, I had 1 million cups of coffee about helping entrepreneurs. And so 1 million cups was created. It happens every Wednesday. Ours happens at 9:30 to 10:30. They happen across the nation. There were almost 200 1 million cups, but with COVID, we dropped back to about 50. So grants pass, and fought for it to be in grants pass. It took me a year. Because they were like, that's a really small community. Is it even gonna happen? Will it thrive? I'm like, you don't know this community. They are tenacious and determined, and they love what they do. So we launched in September. Trevor allows us to host it at his space. And so every Wednesday, 9:30 to 10:30, it's an honor, because I know this is happening across the nation in spaces where entrepreneurs need a place to get up and share their vision and their dream. If you have an interest or know someone with a business, you can let me know. They get to present for 6 minutes. There's a psychology around that, and then we give them feedback. And it's fabulous. If you've not attended, you should, because there's some really, really great ideas. And it's very fun for you to be able to share in their journey. And maybe you have resources and things that you can share with them to help them. Because it's rough being an entrepreneur, I know, and probably many of you in this room know the challenges of that. So that's what we provide. I started a new Connect Coffee and Conversations. I have created a brew and build, which will be hosted at some of our eating establishments to bring them in and help them with support, bringing business there. I am developing some education pieces now. I'm getting ready to launch a youth entrepreneurship program. I'm piloting it today when I leave, actually, at Talent Maker City. Bringing the youth in, the community connections, we network a lot. We're starting to offer more technical assistance, and again, the youth entrepreneurship. So if you were gonna ask me, why does it matter? Because the heart of our community, we put the entrepreneurs first and front center. That's the heart of our community and our economy. When you look around, these spaces are filled, there's businesses, you can go downtown. It's very important. Sometimes I think we forget about it because we just kind of assume that someone's gonna take over a building or start a business. But if any of you have been on that journey, it's tough and you feel alone. And so our work is about getting the entrepreneurs the resources they need, but also getting the community to unite through trust and collaboration is really important for these entrepreneurs. I have so many stories I can share with you about entrepreneurs that I've sent to maybe one of you in this room or others in the community that were stuck, or they hit a wall and they couldn't move anymore, or maybe they had generational poverty, or they've lived with socioeconomic and financial things their whole life. Sometimes entrepreneurship and launching a business or bootstrapping or creating a side gig can help elevate them from that space. It's very empowering. We support them in their big ideas. We let them take risks. We applaud their failures, right? Because we learn from all of our failures. I know I've failed a few times. I will not share them right now, but I have a few doozies. I pick myself back up. One has something to do with a rock crushing plant that I won't tell you today about. But anyway, so new approaches to unite everyone. And the reason I think about new approaches is sometimes we do the same thing we always do, but we want to involve everyone. We don't want anyone excluded, right? We want to think about an ecosystem that is diverse and equitable, but accessible. So a lot of the work I do, I work all the time, but it takes a lot of work to find those people that need you the most. If you go to that grassroots level, they're not like where all of us are. I've been at so many tables as the same people. I look to go to places where I don't know anybody, because that's sometimes where I will find them. I teach entrepreneurial mindset in my psychology classes. I have a few students that have some new, really cool business ideas, a couple apps that I think are gonna help folks that have autism spectrum disorder. And so anyway, it's just been great work. I don't feel like I work. I feel like it's a joy every day. You know, you're in the right place when you are on Sunday. I'm very excited to start Monday. And then by Friday, I'm so grateful it's over and I'm exhausted. I gotta admit, I gotta tell you that. But anyway, so we're gonna continue to grow. It supports local business and startup. It helps elevate people in a space that maybe they've never been before. I see a lot of my entrepreneurs. I have a young person I'm gonna share with you. I've seen such a change in him through this, and maybe you say he needs treatment or people need this. They don't. They need a space to dream big and have hope and believe in themselves, like to think that things are possible, not stay in that same cycle that they're used to living in. And a lot of, as you all know, a lot of people do not have those, you know, we've lost a lot of our family structures. And so a lot of folks they don't have that. Some of my students, they take my class, they're doing their homework in their car. Do I give them extensions and help them? Yes, I do. Because that gets my heart. I love when we reach out into the regions. Daniela was great. We had some students from Prospect take entrepreneurial mindset. It wasn't, they're still wanting to get together. I loved it. So it's really great work. Fostering entrepreneurial mindset is more than just like creating a business. It's about resiliency, perseverance, grit that we all have. It's about adaptability. There's so much that comes from that. And I know I'm speaking to those of you that understand what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, Steve, you're in the room like a great entrepreneurial story. And some of my students, when I share with them people in our community, they get so excited because they look up and go, wow, maybe I could do that, you know, someday. So all of you are mentors in your own way. And all of these folks that I work with, they look up to you. They look up to you for guidance sometimes. And then in the ecosystem, long-term sustainability and success for businesses in Southern Oregon, I have to tell you, I want us on the map because I travel all over the state, but I want to have Southern Oregon kind of shine as this ecosystem and do great stuff and share it forward. I did write a report to Governor Kotek. I was very honored to be asked to do so. And I shared the work that we've been doing in our community. I didn't have an ask. I don't need anything, just let me continue to do this work. And how that looks, we don't know. We're funded until June 30th, the Southern Oregon Innovation Hub and all the hubs. We may get a second round of funding from Business Oregon, but we don't know yet. If we do, it's the buy-in and it'll be cut in half. But I'm still dedicated to doing the work and looking for different ways to fund it to keep it going. And then if you wanted to get involved, you could show up at the 1MC. I guarantee you have fun, free coffee. It's fabulous. It's a great connection. Now they stay afterwards for like an hour. You were there the other day, they stay a long time. We connect, subgroups get together. So you can mentor and support. If you have a skill that you feel like an entrepreneur could use, let me know. Mentoring is very satisfying thing to do. You could sponsor, help an event or program. I really don't want to ask for much, just you. What you bring, what you give. I don't want any money. I managed to do all on my own. I'm really good at finding money and funds, so I do well. I would rather have you, because you're the heart, right? Your money is great, but it isn't everything, and we get lost in that. I would rather have the human connection or the talents that you all can share with someone who is looking to get out of that space, or space that's not working, or they have a really good idea. You know, let's rally and support them. And then engage and spread the word as you attend events. If you have things that you think would be great, let me know. I have a really good group of entrepreneurs. They're mine. I call them mine, but I don't know why, but I've adopted them. And it's growing. But please spread the word, attend events. You can reach out to me at any time. You can text me, email me. Anything that you think would be good for the ecosystem would be great. Joey's Hot Sauce, you're familiar with Joey? I met him at an event. I go to events and I probably haven't been accused of stalking yet, but I'm sure it's gonna come up. But anyway, I go to events and ask, well, what you doing? What do you do? So Joey was stuck. He had a limited space. He could only produce 1 day a week, but he had some opportunity. So we rallied behind and worked with Joey. And I would love to share that we found him a larger manufacturing space. I work with OMEP. I had to go take a class, by the way, with OMEP. I have not been in manufacturing space for a long time. I had to design a business. It hurt my brain, but I did it. Created a really cool paddleboard company. And it was for people who are lazy paddleboarders, which is me. And so it was kind of fun. But anyway, through OMEP and connections, we have a new space for Joey and other entrepreneurs, because this cottage industry, if you're familiar, they are like at our, our farmers markets and those, but it's a very big jump to go from there to actual production. If you've been through it, it's quite challenging. And so Joey, because we got him the space, he is now up to his production. I got him his private label. He is now in 10 Safeway stores. 10. Is that fabulous? He couldn't do that before. So he is amazing and so passionate, and he gives so much to the community. So a good success story. And I have a couple of students, but one you'll learn about, it's a local golf apparel company, and it's for Latino golfers. And John noticed that when he's golfing, there's just a misrepresentation. He didn't see very many Latino people golfing. So he created a golf apparel company. He's struggling, so we're helping him he needs to scale up. Fabulous company, and then he wants to develop a youth program and work with Beyond the Fences, another nonprofit, to provide golf equipment to youth to get them out there on the course. But one of my students had a life of addiction, lost his partner to overdose, and he was in a psychology class. He looked very lost, and I was like, I'm going to really push this onto him. I said I had 35 students, 7 of them with autism spectrum disorder, and we'll finish this really quick for you because you're allowing me this time. But he really spoke to me, and I asked him what he wanted to do, and he just had no belief in himself. He was homeless. He's in this terrible space. So anyway, we worked together, and we talked about the effect of the olfactory system, and we talked about addiction and changing how that looks. So we worked together. I got him space. I paid for him to go to a maker space, and he created a prototype. It's a really neat device that works with the olfactory system, and it has a VR component for people who suffer from substance abuse. It's not a treatment, it's an adjunctive complementary option. There are certain scents that, evoke different things in the brain, different chemicals. So anyway, moving along, he has a prototype, he is cleaned up, he has a home, he has a job, and he is going to be our next Invent Oregon candidate from Southern Oregon. So he's gonna go up and represent and present. So I had to share that. His name's Jay. He's amazing. And just to see nothing else worked, but just finding himself and having purpose, which is what entrepreneurship does, really helps elevate people. I think it's kind of that hidden gem. So it is a delight to be here. If you have any questions, Doug definitely knows where to find me. But if there's anything that I can do or help, or if you would like to get involved, anyway, I would appreciate that.
A little more time.
Oh, do I? Oh,
We have questions.
yeah, I wanted to leave you room, to ask me questions. I love questions. I don't know.
Let me see. Yeah, and let me see if this works. Can you hear me? Okay. So you used some acronyms, OMEC, I think, and then you used the O factor.
Olfactory system.
Oh, okay, I don't know what that is, so if you can explain a few things, I'd appreciate it.
Take a deep breath.
Olfactory system is, we are sensory beings, and so the olfactory system is our senses, our smell. And so sometimes when we treat those with substance, abuse disorders, when I was on the pathway to licensure, it was very difficult. And if you know anyone that struggles, it's very difficult thing to overcome. There's so many psychological things, and then the chemicals in the brain are neurotransmitters. They are changed with constant, use of any type of substance. So through the senses, a lot of times, even if you're familiar with the EMDR, there's different therapeutic approaches that we use, and they focus on the different senses. We have our 5 senses. Y'all know what those are? Okay, I do the math. When I teach the kids, I go like this. And they go, oh yeah, we know. So anyway, that was that. So it's really what it is. I encourage, because I mentor, volunteer to work with my entrepreneurs. I don't get paid for one MC. I just love it. It's so much fun. But I do mentor, my group is growing almost unmanageable at this time. But we look for ways to solve problems. We don't go, oh, this is terrible. Oh, this, we go, hey, this is something that needs change, or how can we help? So we are working on an app for students that neurodivergent or ASD that are in college because they're really struggling and they process differently than everyone else. So we're working on an app. I have some cool people I met in Ashland that are from Silicon Valley that are helping me, but we're creating an app for those individuals. That came out of working with these entrepreneurs and students. OMED is Oregon Manufacturing Extension Partnership. I was in the manufacturing world. I had a rock crushing plant, a hot plant, an ice manufacturing company, and then for some reason I thought I liked food and beverage, and I had a small batch manufacturing plant, and I made sauces and stuff. That was kind of rough. So that's where OMAP. So I do have a love of manufacturing. A couple of projects, because I have time, I wanted to let you know. City of Grants Pass has been a great partner with all of these wild ideas that I have, and I slide and I look at Kramer. If you watch Seinfeld, I slide. Hey, what do you think about this? And I go, oh, let's talk about it. But we are looking at bringing some small batch manufacturing plant, hopefully in Grants Pass, specifically for those cottage industries, and hopefully for non-consumable and consumable food products. So we're working on that. State level, OMEP is a great partner, and they do this work all over the state. So we're looking at bringing that hopefully to GP. We're looking at an incubator, and if you don't know what an incubator is, it is a space where people come visit and get resources and ideate and talk about things. Small space here in GP, and then we're also working on I call it the FB&B. You want another acronym? Food, beverage, and boutiques. So we're working on a project together to support our food and beverage folks because I have a lot of downtime. So I'm helping them. So we formed kind of a coalition. That is very fun because who doesn't like food and beverage? I'm a foodie. So there's kind of side benefits. They feed me when I go talk to them. Like, this is great. So anyway, there's lots of good projects that we are working on, and there's a lot of resources at the state level that I feel like we don't know about here. So I'm just continuing that work. I won't throw out any more acronyms. Any more? Any more questions? Nothing? No burning questions? Oh. The microphone.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for what you're doing, because my question was going to be about Grants Pass. I know that you have the talent maker space that is just awesome, and there's one in Clear as well. And so those have been awesome. And we just haven't, I was wondering if we were making any progress in Grants Pass.
Yes.
As to getting more. Because I think, I'm glad the Million Cups is happening, and that's.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's really good. But I know that there is a need for some sort of maker space here.
And guess what? We are moving forward on that.
Okay.
We are getting close. So yeah, we have some things going. So hopefully soon we'll have something to announce on that. Yes, but we'll have our own, and then you can go here in the middle and then all the way down, right?
Yeah, it's been needed for
All
a
right.
while, so it's nice to hear.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all.
Oh my goodness, do you imagine how much money I'd have if I could bottle her energy? Thank you, Tim, that was great. We're glad you're in the community. I think we're gonna jump right into sergeants, and I think Doug Walker's out there.
Tim, you're gonna be here for a little while, you're not leaving right away, are you? Tim,
What's that?
you're not leaving right away, are you?
No.
Okay, good. I think we maybe could find a way of partnering the mentorship of new entrepreneurs with our club, because I think there's a lot of skills here and talents. I think we could find something to do there. So hopefully you can hang around a little bit. So, I sent an email out to some club members that are newer, and I asked them if they would be willing to share a story from their younger years, as being a kid, of something they might have done that they're proud of, to share, just to sort of be fun. And so I had one as an example that I shared with them, I'll share with you, is I was at an early age, I don't know, maybe second grade, I'm not sure what age, what class I was in, but 7-year-old, something like that. I was making pancakes, I was making breakfast for whoever's in the house. I don't think I did it very often, but I did maybe on a Saturday or maybe on a Tuesday or something. So I'm very proud of myself for that, and looking back at that, thinking, I mean, good, I was doing it, but I was also very proud about the butter, I was thinking, out of the fridge and the syrup, so thinking back, it's kind of silly of me. But so I asked some of them, if they'd share something like that. Danielle, I don't know if you had one or not, I hadn't touched base with you to see whether you saw that email and you had a story, but if you don't think about it, maybe you can share, I got others. Okay, okay, at the end,
got one.
Allison, you wanna go? Where did Mike go?
So when I was in fourth grade, my teacher had that school money, the class money, so we could earn it, so we turned our work in, we got the money, the aide got the money. So I wasn't earning very much school money, so I realized that I'm not as academically inclined as some students, and maybe not behavior wise is great, so I wasn't making very much money, so I decided I was going to earn my money amongst my peers. So my mom got a phone call that I needed to stop my businesses. So I had two businesses. I was doing desk cleaning. So I was charging for desk cleaning. And then my other business is that I was having my mom take me to the dollar store. And I was buying those little pencil erasers, like little toppers, and drawing faces on them and then charging $2 for them. But I was taking everyone's money, so that was stopped pretty early on.
Mine isn't as funny as that one. I was in 5th grade and I was really into trying to help people to read because I had a hard time reading, and I had the opportunity in the summer to help a teacher with other kids reading, and I went away on vacation. And when I came back, his name was Mr. Haviland. I still have his note that said the kids really missed me because they weren't getting the Hamlin touch. So it was really instrumental. But that was the direction I went in terms of schooling.
My earliest memories, we had a octagonal television. I was 2 years old. And it was during the election, Truman and whatever, in 1948. And I told my grandmother and parents that I thought it was totally unfair. The election was totally unfair. There was this huge elephant and a tiny donkey.
Fairness, Carol? Really close to your mouth.
Close to my mouth like this?
Yeah.
Okay. On my way to school, 9th grade, I decided I wanted to chew a piece of gum. So I put it in my mouth and I went to my first class, which was chorus. Well, that did not go over well with the teacher because you're not supposed to chew gum and sing at the same time. So she told me to come up to the class procedure and she gave me a slip to go to the principal's office. Well, as I headed out the door, the bell rang. So the class was over, right? So I went on my way and went to all the other classes that I had. I had like 6 or 7. Well, she was also my 7th grade, the 7th period teacher. She was my English teacher as well. So she called me up and said, "Did you go to the principal's office?" And I said, "No, the bell rang, so I thought I just had to go on to my next class." Well, she immediately walked me to the principal's office and I was given a 1-day suspension. Well, I went home and had to tell my dad that I was suspended for chewing gum. And I think he did his time, but as punishment, I had to wash the car, which I did.
That's pretty good. Anybody else have any little stories of when they were young that they might be proud of or want to share? Okay, we're gonna go on to Happy Bucks then. Anybody have Happy Bucks? Oops. Okay, Luke's first hand up.
Yeah, I've got 6 Happy Bucks because today is the 6th of March, which is the day of the dude. It's the holiest day in the dude's calendar. And today is a perfect day to just abide, not sweat the small stuff, maybe go bowling this evening. So happy Nudist Day.
My happy, moment in grade school was, fourth grade when I was chosen to be the lead in the little class play. And so I was the wicked princess and, you know, the young suitors would come up and I would turn them into a bead on my necklace. But, so that's the only play I've ever played in, but I have supported the theater, over the years, and I'm honored to say that, the high school is putting on a play named Unthinkable Molly Brown this weekend and next. And Saturday is the International Women's Day, and they're doing a special, women's entrepreneurial fair at the high school. And they're also doing a panel of change maker women in the community, and I was asked to be one.
Well, Doug didn't ask me, but I do have kind of a cute story from when I was 5. I went to kindergarten at the St. Anne's Catholic Church here in town. They didn't have a church yet. It was in a gymnasium or something that we rented. So that would have been about 1960. And the teacher was Sister Baptista, I think. And every day you got a stamp on your hand, good angel, you know, and of course I got a crying angel one day, which was the equivalent of a bad angel, because I was very interested in the topic of immaculate conception. And of course, I had no idea of any kind of conception, and I upset the apple cart pretty thoroughly that day. Anyway, I have 10 happy bucks, and I'm really happy to be back. I had a lot of fun last week. I went to a basketball game, and my team won, and it just cheers me up every time I'm here. It's cheered up, so thank you.
I'm done, John, hang on, microphone.
This is a happy buck for a school story. You're a good one. Yeah, well, I don't know how good it is, but we is in high school, you know, when you miss class, when you're absent, your mother writes a little note. Well, my buddy had a younger sister that wrote the note for all us boys. We had a note, if we cut class, we had a note to get to the teacher.
I wrote those notes.
This is actually very contagious. It brought back a memory, so. Anyway, so also Catholic grade school story, 8th grade, taught by the nuns. And in the 8th grade, I got this, it was a medal from the Knights of Columbus. I still have it. It's got a beautiful red box, and it was for excellence in religion. And my parents were very proud of me. And then I knew the real story. It was, like you said, a good memory, and I memorized all my catechism questions, and I got A's. So I got this reward. But when I began to have doubts about religion, my grandfather came over one Sunday, and he was a businessman. He looked at it, and he bit into it, and he said, "That's worth about 50 cents.
Coming right.
Love those elementary school stories. So I have to just look over your memory clicks. Yeah, I remember when I was about 6th grade, same thing. I was in school, wasn't chewing gum. I have another story about that sticking out on my nose, and that's the last time I ever chewed gum in class, because it was like a purple wad of just really stuff on my brain. So that got me out of that. But this is the same class, and it was pretty crazy. But they locked the door. You took a break, and then you had to get back by a certain time. And if you didn't get back in time, they locked the door. You had to go to the principal's office. So I was there one day, and the same thing in the bathroom, brushing your hair, middle school. That's what you did. I had to go down to the school, so to the principal's office. So I was sitting in the principal's office, and it just happened to be, I think this is the only time my parents ever came down to the school. My brother was starring in a play, and so they stopped by to say hello to the principal. I was waiting to see the principal too, but myself. So yeah, that was what were the chances?
Anybody else?
I have a quick one. It was Catholic boarding school. So I was an intern and I lived there until I was 10. And the older girls would use me as lookout all the time, and I would always be the one who was coaxed into doing things first. Well, a lot of the kids that came to school during the day wanted to know what the sisters' rooms looked like. So we scheduled tours and we would take them over to the convent to see the rooms where the nuns slept and where they kept their habits. Yeah. Until one day we came around the corner and Sister Mary Joseph just happened to be in the hallway, and that was the end of that.
My family, I have three younger siblings, I'm the oldest. And of the four of us, three of us are adopted. When I, as the oldest child, was adopted, we used to be able to genetically match kids with the parents. My next youngest sibling was my parents' natural child. We tease him all the time. He wasn't special because he wasn't chosen. But people would see us and they'd say, "Oh, you know, you guys are pretty close together." And you know, are you twins? And we'd say, "Yes." And they'd say, how far apart are you? And we'd say, 4.5 months.
Okay, point of clarification. So you were adopted and they genetically matched you with parents?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. And so many available parents.
Yeah. I was matched with both parents. My youngest brother was matched with my father, and then my youngest sister is matched with my brother.
That is fascinating.
And I was very much like their natural child.
Okay, so that would have been the follow-up question. Do you feel like you were a match with them? Do you?
They were more. They were less extroverted than I was.
That's fascinating.
I saw the picture when she was like 5 years old, and you could tell she was troubled.
That's fascinating. We have an adopted son, Bev and I. And one of the things over the years that I find that I think about a lot is that it was such an interesting dynamic that and I think Bev would probably share this same thing, is we just didn't see the world in the same way as he did. He would be excited or mad or angry or something about something, and I would say, I wouldn't understand why he was so jazzed up about this, either a good way or a bad way, and maybe that helped relieve that in your scenario where there was a genetic match, but I don't know. No. Okay, fascinating. Right, yeah, simple. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Anyone else? No, we're gonna draw cards, I think. Wait, no, we're not, hang on.
It's good, but we have carryover from last.
Oh, we got carryover money.
I have a stack of money here too.
Yeah, does she have, there was more money in that pot too. That might have been, table money.
Do you have cards?
So this is, so I think what we'll do, the carryover is split that in half too. I think it all gets pulled together, and then it all gets handed off. Yeah.
All five together. Pick a card, please. Before you pick that, one of those is yours. Pick one of those red cards. And then pick a winner. Pick a winner, please. Okay, show it. Two of clubs. Two of clubs. Oh, yeah, I've got a very quick one. Like you move on. Okay, we have that right.
Sell all the cards last time I was here, I'm gonna donate it all.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I think we're wrapping up, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week.